Today we want to look at some percent application problems. This particular problem bothers lots of students because they misinterpret what a 0.5% of 40 is. They think if the question is, what is a half of 40? So they give the answer as 20. It's a 0.5%. So we need to change the percent into a fraction or a decimal first before we multiply by 40. So when we're looking for the amount, it's a percent times the base is equal to the amount. So 0.5% times 40 is the translation. Now we interpret what this percent is. Remember the percent symbol we can drop. Well, before we drop it, let's change 1/2 into a decimal. And now that it's in decimal form, if we drop the percent symbol, we move the decimal point 2 places to the left. So it's 0.005 times 40. And that calculation leads to an answer of 0.2. Notice it's 0.2, not 20, because we took a 0.5% of 40. Our next problem, we're trying to find the base. The number 9 is 400% of what number? I translate it just as I read it. It says the number 9 is, translates as equal, 400% of means multiplication of what number. We'll call that the base. Now what we need to do is remove the percent symbol. I can do that by dropping the percent symbol and moving the decimal point 2 places to the left. So 9 is equal to 4b. And the way we solve for b is divide 9 by 4. And that's the answer for b. Okay. If I put that answer into the computer, it may mark me wrong. Let's see. Oh. Sorry about that. Let's put the answer 9/4 into the computer and see what happens. 9 divided by 4. I check my answer. It says, although your answer is equal to the correct answer, it is not in the correct form. Okay, so let me clear that. Let's put in another form of the answer. How about, well, 9/4 is the same as 2 1/4. Oops. 1 divided by 4. Check my answer. Although your answer is equal to the correct answer, is not in the correct form. Let's go read the directions. Oh, type a whole number or a decimal. Another way of saying 2 1/4 is 2.25. Let's try that. Whoops. Finally, we got the question correct because we pay attention to the directions. For the next problem, we're trying. For our next problem, we're trying to find the percent. 17 feet is what percent of 6? Translate 17 is equals what percent we don't know of means times 6. Solve for p. P is equal to 17/6. We need to change this fraction to a percent, and the way we do that is multiply by a 1 factor, 1 in the form of 100%. Let's do a little reduction. 2 6, 3 to 100 is 50. Get out a calculator, and 17 times 50 is going to be 850 over 3%. We don't want to put that answer into the computer because it's saying write the answer as a whole number, a proper fraction, which this is not, or a mixed number. To make it a mixed number, we need to divide out. So 3 into 8 goes twice, and 2 over. 3 into 25 goes 8 times. That's 24, and 1 over. 3 into 10 is 3, and a remainder of 1. So 283 and a third percent should be the correct answer. 283, and we need the fraction 1/3%. Let's see if we are correct. And get my picture out of the way. Good job. Let's look at a few application problems. People have trouble reading this problem. A company's profits amounted to 30% of the sales. If the profits were 15 million, compute the company's sales. Well, reading the first sentence, it says the profits amounted to, which means equals, 30% of the sales times the sales. Well, what were the profits? The profits were 15 mil. I don't like to write out all the zeros. I just use the word million. I'm going to write 30% is 0.3 times the sales. Solving for sales, we take 15 mil divided by 0.3, and we come up with 50. 0.3 into 15 is 50 million. Now, a mistake that some people make is they write in here the actual, they write 50 million, which is going to be, that's million. So we don't want that, okay? All we want is the number 50. The million is already given to us. Let's check our answer. And we got it right. So just pay attention to the directions or you're going to get problems marked wrong. Let's look at this problem, which can be done 2 or 3 ways. So not to confuse you, but I'm going to show you 3 different ways of doing the problem. I'm going to make a little picture. A lab technician making a drink, 52 milliliters of alcohol with 78 milliliters of water. So this is water, and this is alcohol. Mix them together to make a solution. So we need to find the solution, and the solution is the addition of these two, so it's 130 mils. Okay. Well, the obvious by making this picture, we can, if the problem says what percent of the solution was alcohol, well, how much alcohol is there in the solution? 130, not 52 over 78, but 52 over 130. That is the fractional percent of alcohol. If we take that and we multiply it by 100%, we should have our answer. Let's look at the directions. The directions, type in whole number or a decimal. So in this case, since it says decimal, I'm going to use my calculator, multiply 5,200 and divide it by 130. And when I do that, I come up with an answer of 40%. 40% of the mixture is represented by alcohol. That's one way of doing it. The other way, another way of doing it is to just definitely translate the problem. I'm going to go right to the question. What percent of the solution? What percent of the solution was or is alcohol? Okay, we're looking for the percent. Again, the solution is 130, and the part of the solution that is the alcohol is 52. Solving for P, I divide 52 by 130 as I did above, converting that to a percent. I'm going to have 52 over 130 times 100%, which still is 40%. So this is the percent equation approach, or method. I want to look at the proportional method. Okay, proportional method says take P is to 100 as the alcohol is to the total. This is like A is to B, the amount to the base. The percent is what we're looking for. The alcohol is 52. The total, the key is that we always want the total is 130. To solve, we cross multiply, so 130 times P is 100 times 52. So P is equal to 100 times 52 all over 130. Doing the calculation with the calculator turns out to be the same answer, 40%. So 3 ways of looking at the problem. But the key here is when we're making an alcoholic solution, it's made up of water and alcohol. So the total ingredient is necessary 130.